Ladies and gentlemen, every morning you wake up, you hold in your hands the most powerful tool ever created, your mind. Yet most people hand it over to chaos before the day even begins. They scroll, they rush, they react, and they wonder why life feels out of control. But the truth is, every sunrise gives you a choice, to drift like everyone else, or to rise with intention. If you train your mind before the world trains you, there is nothing, absolutely nothing, you cannot create, overcome, or become. You begin to attract the kind of life that mirrors the clarity of your thoughts. The right people seem to appear at the right time. Opportunities that once went unnoticed start revealing themselves. Solutions to problems unfold naturally because your mind, now trained and focused, has become a magnet for progress. This is not magic, nor coincidence. It is the law of cause and effect at work. The mind, when disciplined every morning toward success, becomes a living force of creation. It draws in ideas that match the dominant vibration of your thoughts. If those thoughts are filled with purpose and persistence, your outer world will slowly reshape itself to reflect that same energy. Every day, you are either programming your mind for success or allowing it to be programmed by the noise around you. The difference between a life of direction and a life of drift is what happens in the first hour of your morning. The untrained mind reacts to the world. The trained mind creates the world it wants to live in, and that creation begins not with frantic effort, but with stillness, the kind of calm attention that sets the tone for everything that follows. When you start your morning by choosing your thoughts deliberately, you are telling your mind, I am the captain here. You decide what deserves your focus, what deserves your energy, and what does not. You refuse to let outside influences define your mood or dictate your attitude. It's astonishing how powerful this single discipline can be. Imagine two people waking up in the same world, facing the same set of challenges. One begins his day with fear and doubt, already anticipating struggle. The other begins with faith, gratitude, and purpose. Their days will unfold in entirely different ways. The first will find confirmation of his worries at every turn. The second will find evidence of opportunity, growth, and strength. Their outer conditions may be identical, but their inner preparation has created two separate realities. The mind, once trained, can turn even adversity into advantage. When you start each morning by directing your thoughts, you set into motion a silent force that influences every conversation, every decision, and every outcome throughout your day. You walk differently, speak differently, and respond differently. Confidence replaces hesitation. Patience replaces frustration. Clarity replaces confusion. And before long, your habits begin to follow your thoughts like obedient soldiers following their commander. You no longer waste your mental energy on trivial things. Instead, you pour it into what matters, into progress, growth, and creation. Your morning routine, therefore, becomes your most valuable investment. Not in money, but in mindset. The way an athlete stretches before competition, your mind must be stretched toward greatness before engaging the world. Feed it with uplifting material, with words that strengthen and ideas that expand. Reflect on your goals until they feel alive within you. Speak to yourself in the language of belief, not limitation. Train your inner dialogue to serve you, not sabotage you. Because what you whisper to yourself each morning becomes the instruction your subconscious carries out all day long. Every successful person, whether they consciously know it or not, begins their day with mental rehearsal. They see the outcomes they want, feel them, and act as if they are already true. Negative thoughts, gossip, fear, and doubt are like junk food for the mind. They give temporary stimulation but long-term depletion. On the other hand, thoughts of gratitude, learning, reflection, and discipline strengthen your mental muscles. They keep your focus sharp and your spirit energized. Each morning you choose what to feed your mind, and over time, those choices determine the shape of your destiny. This is why the most successful and peaceful individuals all share one habit. They guard their mornings with care. They do not rush into the day reacting to messages or news. They do not let the world intrude upon their stillness. They begin intentionally as if those early moments were sacred. Because they are, they use them to visualize their goals, to affirm their purpose, to reflect in silence, or to study words of wisdom that lift their spirit. They understand that the quality of those first thoughts determines the quality of everything that follows. You must treat your mind as the precious instrument it is. Just as a musician tunes his instrument before the concert, you must tune your thoughts before meeting the day. When a violin is out of tune, even the most talented musician cannot create harmony. The same is true for the mind. When your thoughts are scattered, fearful, or negative, no amount of effort will create lasting success. But when your thoughts are clear, focused, and aligned with your goals, the entire day plays in rhythm. You find yourself meeting the right people, saying the right words, taking the right actions, not through luck, but through inner alignment. The beauty of this discipline is that it compounds over time. Each morning you practice it, you grow stronger. Each day you train your mind to see the good, the possible, the purposeful. You are building a foundation that becomes almost unshakable. Where once your emotions swung wildly based on outside events, now you find balance. Where once you needed motivation from others, now you generate it from within. You begin to carry your morning mindset with you everywhere you go, no matter the time of day. The training you do in the early hours begins to echo through your entire life, and the effects reach far beyond your own experience. When you train your mind for success, you begin to influence others without even trying. Your calm confidence inspires trust. Your consistency encourages others to find stability within themselves. Your attitude becomes contagious, and people start to rise simply by being around you. The person who has mastered their morning becomes a quiet leader, not by authority, but by example. Without preaching or persuading, you begin to elevate the people in your orbit because your very presence reflects the power of a disciplined mind. There will be mornings when you won't feel like practicing. You'll be tired, distracted, or tempted to skip Those are the moments that test your commitment, the moments that separate the wishful from the dedicated. True growth happens when you act not from comfort but from conviction. Every time you rise and train your mind when it would be easier not to, you strengthen the habit of mastery. You prove to yourself that you are in command, and the reward is immense, an unbreakable sense of self-trust. Because when you can rely on your own discipline, you no longer depend on the world to keep you steady. You start to see the connection between order in the mind and order in life. You notice that your relationships improve, your work becomes more focused, and your creativity deepens. Problems that once overwhelmed you now appear manageable. Decisions become easier because your thinking is clearer. You find yourself operating with a quiet sense of direction that others can sense but may not understand. That is the power of beginning each day with thought, rather than reaction. You no longer drift through life, you navigate it. And as you continue this inner training, something remarkable occurs. You start to notice how your old patterns of thought lose their grip. The worries that used to dominate your mornings fade into the background. The doubts that once paralyzed you begin to sound distant, powerless. In their place grows a quiet, steady faith, not just in your goals, but in your ability to handle whatever comes. You no longer need everything to go right to feel right within yourself. You have built an inner world that is strong enough to withstand any outer change. Every morning, you are writing the script for your day. You can write a story of fear, hesitation, and excuses, or you can write one of courage, clarity, and progress. The pen is always in your hand. And with each day's practice, you learn to write with greater precision, greater intention, and greater wisdom. The more consciously you train your mind, the more predictable your success becomes. You stop waiting for things to happen. You make them happen. You stop hoping for a better life. You begin creating it one morning at a time. The greatest reward of all is that your inner peace becomes independent of outcomes. You realize that success is not only about achieving goals, but about who you become while pursuing them. When your mind is trained each morning toward gratitude, discipline, and purpose, even the smallest tasks take on meaning. You find joy in effort, satisfaction in persistence, and confidence in knowing that every day you are progressing, not by accident, but by design. Each sunrise becomes a symbol of renewal, an invitation to start again, stronger and wiser than before. You no longer fear the challenges ahead because you've already conquered the hardest one, the mastery of your own mind. That is the essence of power. To rise each morning and choose your thoughts with purpose, to shape your reality through disciplined imagination, and to live not by chance but by conscious creation. To live by conscious creation is to step beyond the limits of routine existence. It means you no longer drift through the hours waiting for something to inspire you. You become the source of your own inspiration. The world may move in chaos, but you move in rhythm. You begin to sense that life responds to you, that the energy you carry shapes the energy you encounter. You find yourself noticing opportunities others overlook, not because they were hidden, but because you have trained your mind to see. The same world that once appeared dull or uncooperative suddenly becomes vibrant with possibility. The difference lies not in the world itself, but in the eyes that see it. The mind that has been trained every morning to focus on purpose and clarity becomes like a finely tuned instrument. It can detect patterns where others see randomness. It can hear harmony where others only notice noise. And this perception is what turns ordinary circumstances into stepping stones toward progress. You begin to understand that your thoughts are not merely private whispers inside your head. They are signals, broadcasting constantly, shaping the reality that meets you. Each thought of gratitude sends a frequency of abundance. Each thought of fear sends a frequency of resistance. The more consistently you train your mind toward gratitude, confidence, and growth, the more naturally the world begins to align with those vibrations. Success, then, ceases to be a distant mountain to climb and becomes a daily practice, a quiet, consistent shaping of the inner world. You no longer see achievement as something to chase, but as something that grows organically from within. You realize that the person who trains their mind every morning is already successful, even before the outer rewards appear, because true success is not measured in possessions or applause, but in mastery of thought, of emotion, and of direction. When you master your mind, you are never at the mercy of chance. You carry within you the power to begin again, no matter what the world throws your way. As your mornings become more intentional, you start to understand the profound connection between thought and time. Every minute spent in doubt or distraction is a minute stolen from your potential. Every moment spent in focused gratitude and clarity expands the power of your future. The more you train your mind to stay directed, the less you are pulled by the endless noise of the world. You no longer wake up dreading the day. You welcome it. You no longer fear challenges. You look for the lessons they bring. You no longer compare yourself to others. You compete only with the person you were yesterday. This mental shift creates a peace that cannot be borrowed, and cannot be borrowed, and cannot be bought. It is earned slowly through deliberate thought every morning. Your life begins to feel different, not because your circumstances have changed overnight, but because your awareness has deepened. The morning training builds a foundation of presence. You begin to experience your moments more vividly. You hear more in the silence. You see more in the ordinary. You feel more alive in the now. This state of awareness sharpens your intuition. It guides you subtly, yet powerfully, toward the actions that lead to growth. What others call instinct or luck is often nothing more than an awakened mind, one that has been trained daily to listen inwardly before reacting outwardly. There is a certain quiet strength in those who begin their mornings with discipline. They carry themselves differently. Their words are measured but meaningful. Their presence is calm but commanding. They do not rush because they understand that haste is the enemy of wisdom. They do not complain, because they have already chosen gratitude before the day began. They do not fear uncertainty, because they have built certainty within. This kind of composure cannot be faked. It must be cultivated one morning at a time. The mind you train becomes the companion that never leaves you. It walks beside you in every situation, interpreting the world according to its training. If you have filled it with positivity, it will find the good in everything. If you have filled it with fear, it will see danger everywhere. This is why the first thoughts of the day are so critical. They determine how you interpret every experience that follows. When you awaken and immediately think, "I am ready," your mind begins searching for proof that you are. When you wake and think, "I am overwhelmed," it will find evidence to support that too. The subconscious mind does not argue, it obeys. It simply brings to life whatever instructions you give it most consistently. Over time, you start to see that life is not testing you. It is teaching you. It is teaching you. Each challenge arrives not to defeat you, but to strengthen your focus. Every setback offers a mirror, showing where your faith still wavers. When your mind is trained, you begin to welcome these moments rather than resist them. You see them as opportunities to refine your control, to remind yourself that no event is greater than your ability to respond to it. You find freedom in that realization. The world no longer has to be perfect for you to feel peace. You are no longer dependent on conditions. You are anchored in principles. And what a difference that makes. The trained mind does not waste time on things it cannot control. It does not fight reality. It works with it, shaping it where possible and accepting it where necessary. This acceptance is not weakness. It is the highest form of strength. It means you have risen above the noise of resistance and learned to direct your power where it matters most, toward creation, not complaint. While others argue with the inevitable, you invest your energy into the possible. That is how progress is made. Quietly, steadily, by those who train their minds to stay centered while the rest of the world reacts.